DJ will kick the floor in three, two, 1.
On the troll. On the troll.
Hello and welcome to Mzanzu. Back again. It is that time in the night where we have to do things that we have to. And again, like anybody else who deserve to be not happy about the things they see, I guess I'm not.
Why are you not happy?
There are many reasons why I'm not happy.
Okay.
Yeah, many of them. One day I'll put them on blast. Yeah, so let us do what we have to do. Let us shoot. Let us do what we have to do for our people. Let us roll, Emily.
Hi guys, welcome back to the Mzansi Reality YouTube channel. Thank you so much for joining us yet again for another deliberation, discussion, whatever you want to call it, of the Senzo Meyiwa Trial. A lot happened today and I hope I can quickly cover it as fast as I possibly can get to it. Don't forget to like the video. If you are new to the channel, please subscribe, and also you can join the membership if you are really interested in this type of content and you'd like for us to continue with it. And Advocate Ngumalo and Advocate Mshololo raised concerns with the packaging and transportation of the exhibits this morning, and the judge asked Ngumalo if they are still pursuing the application of the subpoena. The judge said that those admissions affect the warrant officer Mhlahlo as well, who was the next witness. And I don't understand why it was brought up, because she had already started with the examination yesterday with Advocate Baloyi, right? So now it was like, okay, it's like you slept on it and now you're bringing it up again. I thought we had closed it yesterday. But the judge said Mr. Ngumalo, his questioning or attacking of the validity of the evidence. And Baloyi read Exhibit F and said that the accuracy admits, the accused admits the accuracy and correctness of the album compiled by Sergeant Timosia, marked Exhibit C. The key and sketch plan depicting the scene are admitted, and the accuracy and correctness, the key and sketch plans of case 636 compiled by Warrant Officer Mhlahlo, signed on July 2023. He said that all of these were signed by all the accused 1 to 5. So they admitted to the accuracy and correctness of those pictures with envelopes that we are led to believe that the bullets are inside. So in my opinion this morning, I just felt like, this is not giving fairness much. But Sizotini, we move. So the judge said Mr. Ngumalo's application concerns those two paragraphs 11 and 12. The admissions made on section 220 concerning those two have launched an application to attack them. And the choice of words, attack. Who's attacking here? I'm like, no one is attacking anyone. They just want proof that inside those envelopes, it's the exhibits that are being discussed. And as if you're trying to tell us that the exhibits are the envelopes and the seal bags.
Yeah.
So, and he asked, the judge was like, on what basis? And Ngumalo was like, my lord, maybe to be clear, I don't have a problem with the accuracy and correctness of the photo album. Where the challenge is with the sealing, packaging, and transportation of the exhibits of the ballistics. And the judge is like, this, as I understand, it is one transaction, and the photos inside and outside the premises were taken jointly by this witness and were also taken by Warrant Officer Msia. They did their exercise jointly. Okay. The camera was utilized by both of them. And I was like, now that's a lie.
Right.
Msia never said that he was using Mhlahlo's camera. He said his camera broke down and he only took 8 photos. So, Judge, where are you getting that information?
So I think what we should talk about here, as I explained yesterday, and why the accuracy was not an issue, and why is it important that they do not admit to everything that is contained in that evidence as in a form of pictures, because they have put their signatures there. I think if you were here yesterday and you watched that video, you are clear on that. But the main aim here, as I said yesterday, it is with regards with the sealing and transportation of the evidence. That is the main aim.
Yes. And the judge is kind of ducking and diving.
The accuracy, the judge choosing to make mistake on such and
to make it one thing, that accuracy and correctness also implies the transportation and sealing and packaging, and that is not what has been discussed in the affidavits. That
the packaging then therefore including what could be contained inside the brown envelope that is not clear. Obvious what it contains. Now in that form they are basically talking about what we call chain evidence.
That Munisi kind of brought up later on.
Yes.
So the images captured on the camera were downloaded in the form of photographs. A selection was made to those downloaded photographs to form part of an album, which the state has been using. And as I understand it, the selection coordination of those photographs is part of the packaging. Are you with me? This is the judge now asking Ngumalo, and Ngumalo's like, yes. So the judge is like, so it incorporates the whole chain, right, up to when they are delivered to the forensic science laboratories in Pretoria. You can't just say you are concerned with packaging and delivery. It's a chain. What was delivered was captured in the camera.
It was captured in the floor, but it was not captured being packaged. Hence, the evidence back is that transparent for that reason.
That's why the forensic laboratories hand over the forensic bags transparent.
Yes.
And not in brown envelopes.
Now the brown envelope is defeating that, because now you are whatever. So what the judge is saying is that you saw a package of beans there before they pack them, and then they tell you they're gonna pack them in a certain box, and then when you are in your house, they deliver that box. When you sign, you are signing for a box at that moment in time, which you could probably assume, okay, because I saw what was put down there, it should be beans. And then when you open, there's a mistake of packaging.
Yeah.
Now, shouldn't you be able to take that thing back to the store?
You need to be able to take it back to the store, because that's not what you bought. That's not what you asked for.
So, in a nutshell, the defense is submitting that there is a fault in packaging, which could allow the manipulation of that evidence.
And here, in my opinion, I was starting to feel like the judge has already picked a side, you know. It's giving, I'm not going to let this go through the state. I'm siding with the state. And I'm like, what is going on? It was given that in my own opinion. People
say the judge is very benevolent. And I don't know, man. I don't know. There are levels in which you measure. I'm not saying that because for now, seemingly seem to be one-sided support that we see. But if you are going to do such things, then rather not show them.
Yeah.
You know, find a way of putting them under carpet if there were things that you wanted to do. Do not try to sway a certain narrative, because as hard as you try, you are creating a web of things that could come back to actually haunt you in whatever judgment that you make. Where now what we have seen is that the judge is hostile to certain people. As this is my assumption, this is my perception, this is what I see. The judge is hostile to certain but that is fading away because now they're starting to know, most of them, to know where they are and who they are representing and who they should be loyal to, which is their clients.
Yes.
That, though, seemingly seemed to be working fine with Ngumalo, because Ngumalo is still not sure that maybe he should be in that court, for me.
No, he should be in that court.
Because every time there's these questions of unnecessary questions that seemingly are confusing on purpose for me. That's what I see. They are on purpose. They are put there in purpose and to distort the narrative. And like the last question, there was basically nothing wrong. It was long, but it was nothing wrong with it. Everything said there was alleged. In a sense, the judge tries to frustrate or to threaten. This is my own assumption. This is my own opinion, actually, basically. Tries to threaten Nisi, but it's not working. Nisi is saying, no, this thing is fine.
Yes, it's bouncing off.
Yeah. So by that, then Nisi really came to help for Ngumalo, because Nisi, if he stood up and said, my lord, that is not what we stand for with accused number 3. Therefore, the judge would have found their way.
And I don't understand why it needs to be like, okay, this one speaks only on behalf of this accused. All of them are implicated, right? So I don't understand that part. And another thing that I wanted to say is that Ngumalo is on the right track, in my opinion. So he should not doubt himself or want to question whether he is in the right place. You are at the right place. And what I like about him is that he's young.
Okay, I'm not sure where that helps me.
But I like the fact that he's there.
Okay.
You understand? He's there. He might not have the experience of your advocate Mshololo, or advocate Mnisi, or advocate Ramsipil, but his presence there is already showing, because the way he's been able to present arguments, it's quite refreshing, in my opinion.
Okay.
It's refreshing because he looks at the details. He looks at a different angle. He doesn't come and repeat what Ramusipile has done or repeat what Mnisi has done. He's very innovative with his cross-examination.
Oh, I think it would take that. What I've noticed about him is that he deals with affidavits and all those things, and that is his position. Hence, the questions that he would ask, if they happen to hop onto someone that has already asked, it's basically because that person touched on affidavit stuff. So he's dealing with the evidence that you gave, statements and all those things. That is his position in the team.
Asking for the receipt thing from Musia, I did not see that one coming, but here he brought it forth, and I was actually like, okay.
He's a verifier, basically. He's verifying what you said. He's verifying basically everything. Even Msia, for Msia to actually get that request is because of what he said.
Yes. So I'm impressed. I have no complaints. And usually when you get so much resistance, you are on the right track. You are onto something. That's my experience with the South African courts. Not any other court. The South African courts, you are onto something when you see this much resistance to your questioning. You must continue. You must go there, okay? And be calculative about it. Well, the judge said, just listen to me. No, I'm not persuading you not to go with your application. And the state talked about the correctness of the photos, right? And it talks about the accuracy of the photos, correct? And these are the photos which consist of a nation of album. And you are saying that the admissions are not properly made. Okay, bring your application. I said I should make a ruling, but I need to make a ruling before the witness testifies on the evidence. And Nxumalo said, "My lord, I don't think there's anything I need to add because I did address the court bringing my application yesterday." So the judge said, "So you are saying what should happen to the admissions? They should be cancelled or revoked?" And Nxumalo said, "No, that is not what I'm saying. What I'm saying, my lord, is that I should be given an opportunity to cross-examine on the sealing, packaging, and transportation of the exhibits to the ballistic. I don't have a problem with the correctness and accuracy of the album." And the judge said, "Okay, fine, Mr. Baloyi." And Mshololo stood to say that, "I'm also sitting in the same problem, my lord, that when we made these admissions, we did not mean to admit the chain of evidence there to the exhibits that were packed and transported," right? And there was a bit of a sound disruption there. It kind of went off. And then the judge said that Advocate Nxumalo must bring his application to challenge the admissions of the evidence before Lieutenant Colonel Mhlahlo can testify on that evidence. So I guess, in my opinion, he allowed it. Did he allow it, Mr. Anonymous?
Yeah, he did.
That was the part where the sound kind of went off.
He did.
So Advocate George Baloyi started with continued with his examination of the witness. And he started off with the question, "These photos relate to swabbing or taking of swabs on the scene?" And Mhlahlo said yes. And Baloyi said, "Musia was doing the swabbing and you took the photos?" Mhlahlo said yes. Baloyi said, "What happened after this process of swabbing?" And Mhlahlo said they continued searching the scene. They went to where the door was damaged. It's where there was suspicion that the bullet hit the kitchen door. And she said that when we saw the kitchen door was damaged and the bullet didn't go inside, we searched inside it. The door was damaged, but there was no hole that led to the outside. We looked on top of the cupboard, even though Musia said he hadn't found anything close to the door. We also looked on top of the cupboard. There were glass jars. It's behind those glass jars that we found a bullet hit.
Guys, let us like the video.
I know.
And Noma Kundlovu, thank you very much.
Thank you, Nomakuku. And I know before I had mentioned that I find it difficult to believe that a shot went off and a bullet went off and those glass jars, nothing happened to them. But I saw someone commenting and actually bringing up that there was also a scuffle in the kitchen and nothing happened to those glass jars. That's something we also must think about.
I think are you sure you understand where the bullet was found?
Behind the glass jars on the kitchen counter. You said it hit the wall. I accepted it.
Kitchen counter where?
In the kitchen.
Closer to the fridge, up above there, around that area.
Yes.
So it's an area that probably was in terms of scuffling. The scuffle was within the sink side, and I think you're still confused with...
Of 7 people.
Yes. You're still confused with... It's like a cupboard that has shelf...
6 people.
It's like a cupboard that has shelf up there. I would assume maybe whatever that was standing there. I don't know whether it's built in or whatever, but on top of that, it's not something that was sitting on the sink or something.
So it was above.
Yes.
Above the 2.
As you saw when they were showing
counters.
us. Yes.
Still, the bullet just... Hi, I'll take it. Baloyi then said who was searching at that point and who found the bullet head. Mhlahlo said, as I indicated, I was working with Musia and Zwane.
Was this
but I'm the
Ramusipedi?
one... No, it's Baloyi still doing the examination.
Okay.
And he said, but I'm the one who found that bullet head behind the glass jars. Now, she says that she's the one who found the bullet head behind the glass jars. And she says that she was with Warrant Officer Msia and Captain Zwane. So the bullet that they found was put in a brown envelope marked Exhibit 1. So Baloyi asked, explain how you found the bullet. Did you move the jars? And Mnisi objected and said, the mind of this witness has already been corrupted into saying, and the judge said, no, please. Let's have decency in this court. Shouting at Mnisi says, you are an officer of this court. You can't accuse your fellow officer of corrupting. Please. Then Mnisi said, I'm not saying that he's corrupting. All I'm saying is that by that question, the mind of the witness is already corrupt. The judge said, is corrupted by whom? And Mnisi said that the perception of the court. And the judge said, no, I don't have a perception. No, Mnisi. Mnisi said, that's a leading question, my lord. And the judge said, fine. I'm just saying you can express yourself better than saying Mr. Baloyi corrupted the mind of this witness. We don't use that language in this court. Now, this, in my opinion, you guys, gave me deja vu. I had deja vu of Maubela versus Titi, Tobani versus Dave. I was like, what is happening? This was a rough morning, okay? I was like, what is going on? This feels like deja vu. I'm sure there could have been a better way to give him an opportunity to rephrase instead of shouting at him like that. So Baloyi paraphrased the question. And he asked, how did you get to that bullet point? And Mhlahlo said, by following the damage on the kitchen door, and then we removed those glass jars. The bullet that we found, we put it in a brown envelope and marked it Exhibit 1. So Baloyi asked, explain photo 19. And Mhlahlo said that it depicted the damaged door and the pieces of the door. It's where the bullet allegedly hit, and then it landed up on the cupboard. So there was a picture displayed in court of a bullet head on the kitchen counter.
Did you hear that?
No,
it
according
landed
to the journalist.
Up on the cupboard. Up. So whatever that was happening was up. Yeah.
So a picture was displayed of a bullet head on the kitchen counter with a piece of wood from the damage on the door, which was beamed on the screen in court. So the judge raised concerns about the use of this language. And the judge said, I'm posing this because your CV says that you're an expert. You are not a ballistic expert. And Mhlahlo said, no, I'm not a ballistic expert. And the judge said, I'm listening to the language that you are using when you are comparing photo 19 and 127. You come to the conclusion that that is where it is alleged. So the judge here had a problem with how Mhlahlo had written her statement in saying that it is alleged, it's where it is alleged the bullet landed or something like that. And Mhlahlo said, yes, it is so. It hit the door. When we looked for it, we found it on top of the cupboard. And the judge said, then fine. I have no problem with that. But when you say it is alleged, it means that there is one person who gave that information. Are you with me? And Mhlahlo said, may I explain it like this, my lord? When Colonel Zwane briefed us, he told us that they suspected that the bullet had hit the door. Hence, we wanted to see if the bullet had exited the door. But as we searched inside and removed the things around, we then detected that the bullet had been behind those glass jars. So the judge said that's factual. It's not speculative. When you use the word alleged, kutiwa, when you translate what somebody else said.
Thank you, Isaiah, with donation. Thank you, Ned, with donation. There is a problem here. As much as the aspect of language, in this case, which is the judge, could be using his level of knowledge, I don't know where it comes from, but I think we are equal. We're not even equal. Actually, I'm better. Because my Zulu is better. When someone shows you something that, okay, the bullet hit this door here, we are being told that is an information that we are comprehending from someone
else. You didn't see
you
it
did
yourself.
not see it yourself. So kutiwa is correctly used in this context. Do you understand?
Yes.
But when you talk about you now actually finding the bullet, you can claim, because you are telling us that it is you who actually eventually find the bullet. But the process of you going there is what you were told. There's a bullet that hit the door, and when you realize, upon realizing that it didn't go out, and you started tracing. So you were given, in Zulu, what we say, umkondo. You were given a sort of a direction, a lead that go there. So kuthiwe is not wrong in this context.
Okay. So Baloyi said, photo 127, you mentioned the piece of wood or the splinter on photo 127, and the question was whether you can use photo 19 to illustrate your evidence as far as the splinter is concerned. And Mhlahlo said, that is so, my lord. I am comparing the pieces of wood or splinter and the damaged door. It looks the same as the door. And Mhlahlo said the photos of the bullet was put in an envelope and was put into forensic bag which was sealed. Baloyi asked who packed the bullet head, and Mhlahlo said one officer Msia. Photo 132 indicates an alleged place where a bullet landed on the kitchen floor, and Baloyi asked who pointed that spot out, and Mhlahlo said it was pointed out by Musia, but also by my observation of the damage on the floor. Mhlahlo said that after the photograph was taken, it was taken by Musia. He was responsible for the collection after he had started with the collection the previous day. She said, we then proceeded to collect the cans found in the sitting room. The cans were sealed in a forensic bag. Mhlahlo went through the photos and what they depicted. The bedroom door, they used fluorescent powder on it, and that was the end of the investigation inside the house. So Baloyi asked, is there anything else of importance that happened before you left the scene? And Mhlahlo said that on the following day, which was the 28th of October, as they were busy with the bullet, Colonel Mangena from ballistics arrived. So this was before she wanted to talk about what happened on the 28th, but then she was asked before they left the scene what had happened. And she's saying that as they were busy with the bullet, Colonel Mangena from ballistics arrived and he did his investigation. After they were finished with their scene, they did a debriefing about everything that they did on the scene. Baloyi asked what happened to that exhibit bag after the process which you just described, and Mhlahlo said, yes, it is so. As we were busy with the bullet, after we collected it, we photographed it. Colonel Mangena from ballistics arrived. He also did his investigation. After we were done with our scene investigation, we did debriefing. We briefed Colonel Matidze, who was her commander, and the late Captain Matebula, who was the duty officer of Springs. She says that we did the debriefing outside of the crime scene because we were done with the crime scene. We wanted to know if Lieutenant Zwane was satisfied with how we handled the scene since he was the one who called us. We then left and Musia left with exhibits that he collected. Baloyi asked, that being, Mhlahlo said, forensic and ballistic exhibits.
So this is where I get confused. Why is Musia living with ballistic forensic?
I don't know.
Because now there's Colonel Mangena who's specializing on that.
Expert.
Why is Musia still living with this?
The ballistic, with the bullets. That doesn't make sense. Right? Doesn't make sense. Hopefully he can tell us when he comes to testify. Then Baloyi asked, what time did you leave? And Mhlahlo said at 2:30 in the afternoon. Mhlahlo said the following day they went to a mortuary, the Germiston mortuary. The state requested that the postmortem pictures not be shown to specifically the people that were in court, because remember, we don't see nothing. We don't see nothing. So they were like, the people that were in the court are not supposed to be seeing those post-mortem pictures. And Tsipora Mosepele stood up and said that the pictures should be shown. If she participated and took the pictures, they should be shown. And he said, I don't understand what the basis of Mr. Baloyi saying that it should not be shown because it was never laid. And the judge said, nah, he's just got taste and decency. I'm like, what? the shade that has been thrown in this court, but it's just got taste and decency. If you show them dismembered post-mortem of the deceased. And Rab Musipili said, yes, it's not in good taste, my lord. And the judge said, you can say the photos can be shown to you, the counsel and the accused, but not the public. And Ramusipili agreed that the pictures may only be shown to the counsels. Baloyi said that his learned friends have the copies. So Mshololo said extra copies are needed for the accused, okay? The judge asked Mshololo if she has not consulted them because they have always had the photos. And Mshololo said that she did not consult with them to show them pictures of the deceased. Why was she supposed to have done that?
What?
Show the pictures of deceased.
Because they're supposed to tell them about the evidence of whatever that they're facing. Basically tell them what they're facing.
But show them the pictures.
Okay. Isn't that evidence?
I see, but way before, in advance, I mean, what was it going to serve? What was it going to do? In my opinion, I'm just curious.
I think you need that judge to answer you.
Well, I honestly didn't see anything wrong with Mshololo not showing.
No, there was nothing wrong in that sense. That's why it was not made a big deal. In a sense, the judge was assuming that they've went through the evidence and talked about it all.
Not that part, no.
Yes.
Ramusipele said that the accused person asked for the documents, so he gave it to them so that they could study them in prison and consult on them. So Ramusipele had said he had already given them, or he said he's giving them as the trial goes on. And the state had black and white pictures, so the accused said that they wanted color pictures.
All right.
So the judge ordered counsel to show the accused the pictures, and there was a 20-minute adjournment.
Ordered to stop here. Can we please like the video for those who are here as subscribers and all that? I know that sometimes you come in late and you are in a hurry to get context of what is happening. Please like the video. I'm not going to stop because I value those who come in and like the video. So because of that, I'm not going to stop. Can we please like the video? And those who are not subscribed and they wish to subscribe, this is their chance of subscribing. This is like a break for you. I see it's getting hot. It's getting to that level of summer. So yeah, please guys, as you can see, Emil is boiling.
So you're going to use me? Okay guys, I am. It's hot in here. It's hot.
Yes. Okay, let us continue.
Hlahlo says that she went to Germiston mortuary on 2014, the 10th of October, the 28th, with Warrant Officer Muntwedi, Dr. Steenkamp, and they took pictures of the post-mortem. Baloyi asked, you said you found identifiable fingerprints that were taken on the bedroom door 1 handle. Was there any further investigation on that? And Hlahlo said, yes, the detective brought the fingerprints of the people who stayed in the house for elimination processes. She says, we then compared the fingerprints with the fingerprints of those people who were in that house on that night. So Baloyi then asked, and who did the fingerprints belong to? And Hlahlo said the fingerprints belong to Nonhlanhla Khumalo, who is one of the people who were in the house. Nonhlanhla Khumalo, by the way, I think it's Kelly Khumalo, if I'm not mistaken, that's her other name. So after the investigation, the crime scene is searched again. Just as they found the bullet head, they looked for cartridges as to whether they would find it. And Hlahlo said they never found any cartridge on the scene. Baloyi asked, could the caliber of the bullet projectile be determined at that stage? And Mhlahlo said, I think the person who can explain that to the court is the person from ballistic. That is why we send the exhibits we've gathered to the ballistics, so they have the knowledge to see the caliber when they do their investigation. So the state concluded the examination, and Sipho Ramosepele cross-examined the witness. Mhlahlo said that Colonel Matidze told her in the office, she said that they work in the same office. So when there's a crime scene she needed to attend to, she was told that day, or she was told at the office that she needed to attend to that crime scene. And he said to her that there was a shooting incident. She does not think that he had all the information, because when they did the debriefing, he was there. The only thing he had was the address of the incident. So she says she wouldn't know if Colonel Matidze knew who the victim was. So Ramosepele asked, the reason why I'm asking you is that Colonel Musia testified that it is standard procedure that in a high-profile matter, or where the personality involved is a well-known personality, that your task team will be activated to go and assist in processing that scene.
So, Emil, I just wanna, before the Baloyi's cross-examination, so there's only one person that this elimination for process fine.
Who is that?
Nonhlanhla Khumalo. So that door was only touched by Nonhlanhla Khumalo.
They eliminated Nonhlanhla Khumalo. That's what she's saying.
So that person was eliminated. Exactly what I'm saying. People who were in the house, only Nonhlanhla Khumalo touched that door.
It seems like amongst the people who were in the house, only Nonhlanhla Khumalo touched that door.
So the whole day, that door was never touched.
I was expecting the mother, Kelly's mother.
Oh, not even the whole day. How long does this thing stay on your door?
Fingerprints are fingerprints unless if you wipe them. Now, if she cleaned maybe in the morning.
So you would clean also, you wipe
But
them.
I don't know if she would wipe the door handles on a daily basis. I don't know.
These things are so convenient, and you know, and then next thing you'll be told.
And another thing I was expecting was Zandi's as well. Remember how she was speaking about how she would check on the young baby and stuff.
Exactly.
Zandi as well, her fingerprints, and I think that's her bedroom. She said Kelly ran into my bedroom.
Yes.
Where's Zandi's fingerprints? Why elimination is not there? Guys, I get
Then
it.
tomorrow will be they say taking that evidence as the gospel truth
Oh, Baba.
of what happened there. We are eliminating only one person out of that. The whole day, people were in that house. The whole day, kids. There was the boy who was energetic, young boy who was energetic.
Running around.
I don't know how many times my kid plays with my door.
Oh my God. And wow.
Yeah, but
Wowie.
continue.
Wowie. Ramosepele asked, who were the other members of the task team? And Mhlahlo says, I was busy with Colonel Matidze, but in separate cars. So they traveled in separate cars to the scene. They arrived at 9:10 in the morning. Ramosepele asked, when you arrived, who briefed you and showed you around the scene? And Mhlahlo said it was Captain Zwane. Who else was there? Musia talked about Matebula and Brigadier Ndlovu. And Mhlahlo said the person who I was working with was Lieutenant Zwane. That is the person that I worked with, and I didn't take the names of the other officers. Musia as well was one of the people that she says she worked with. Lieutenant Zwane was managing the scene. And Ramosepele asked, what were you told about Zwane when you arrived at the scene? And Mhlahlo said that 2 men were suspected of entering the house. Senzo was shot, a cell phone was taken, and he was rushed to the hospital where he passed away. Ramasipele then asked, who walked you through the scene? And Mhlahlo said, Lieutenant Zwani and Musia. Ramasipele asked which areas, and Mhlahlo said that they started outside on the premises and then went into the house in all the rooms. Ramasipele asked, did you ask Musia what he had done on the scene? Did Musia tell you that he secured the scene and found some exhibits? And Mhlahlo said, yes. Did he show you the exhibits, especially those that had already been packaged? And Mhlahlo said, she didn't know, or she didn't show them to her. So he informed me what he had done. I have already said that Sergeant Musia informed me what he had done the previous day. That's why we agreed he would continue with the work of the forensic investigation, because he had already started. So during the cross-examination, Ramasipele was able to probe more on the fact that she trains other field workers who work on the crime scene, or rather remind her of her testimony when she said that. And Mhlahlo said that she does in-service training. When asked about the duties of the police that respond first to the scene, Mhlahlo said the court can ask her on forensic work, not the duties of the first respondents. Now I found this to be very mean. Okay, I found it to be very mean response. But anyway, we move. Ramasipele said Captain Zwani points out certain areas to you around the scene, and you and Musia continue to process the scene. And Mhlahlo said yes. Ramasipele asked what was the condition of the scene, because Musia had already processed it. And Mhlahlo said, I would like to refer the court back to my pictures, because I documented the scene by taking photos. That is how I found the crime scene. Ramasipele asked, I get that, but there's a condition in which you would have found the scene before you started taking the pictures. Mhlahlo said it was in the condition as it is in the pictures, which is how I showed by the pictures as to how I found the house inside. And Musia and the other officers did not see this projectile that was found on the kitchen counter. They only saw the bullet fragment. And Mhlahlo said, I hear you. Ramasipele then said, I will come back to that. Where did the processing of the scene start? And Mhlahlo said, we started outside and then inside. Started the swabbing at the door of bedroom 1. Ramasipele asked if she knew that Musia was a fingerprint and crime scene investigation expert. And Mhlahlo said that she thinks that Musia said that in the court. Perhaps the court is the one that was supposed to ask Musia about that. Yazi, Mhlahlo's defensive way of answering. You're very young niggas deja vu tumelo. Young Kumbusu tumelo, and how he was like, I will not be testifying on what anybody. She was giving that. And I'm like, why is she so defensive? It's like she's coming to war. It's like she came to a fight. And I'm like, why are you so defensive? The energy that she was giving, it was very much like, usempini. Like, I didn't understand that. It didn't make sense to me. Then Ramasipele said the 2 responding officers in Musia testified they searched the same countertop, but they didn't locate the projectile you located. And Mhlahlo said, I hear you. So according to Mtogozi Sitwala, after the victim got shot, he laid on the floor on the left-hand side of the couch. He was sitting on the carpet there. The state objected, saying that it's incorrect, and the judge said that he never said he saw Senzo being shot. So Ramasipele rephrased the question and asked, did you process the sitting room for blood? And Mhlahlo said, yes, that is so. Did you process that carpet area for blood? And Baloyi objected that the deceased was seated on the couch on the opposite side. And I'm like, since when? Did they say he sat on the couch after getting shot? Am I getting confused? Did I miss something? Mr. Anonymous? Did Senzo sit on the couch after getting shot? Did I miss something?
I I might be wrong, but here they are answering about the arrangement of sitting.
Well, the judge said to Ramasipili, you are placing the deceased on the wrong couch. And Ramasipili rephrased his question again to ask if there was blood on the couch. And Mhlahlo said she did and even took pictures on the other side. There was no blood and she did not look there. So she did say that she found something there. Then Ramasipili said, Kaya Ngache testified that in the hallway after they were done running to the park, he found the victim lying there. Were you told about that area for possible DNA analysis? And Mhlahlo said, I didn't have that information. And Ramasipili asked, what attracted you to the glass jars where you found the bullet head? And Mhlahlo said, we saw the damage on the door and looked to see if the bullet went out the door. It didn't. And then we looked around the cupboard. There were other items on the cupboard, but the bullet was found behind the glass jars. Ramasipili asked, this projectile you found, did it have any blood stains on it? And Mhlahlo says it didn't have any. Ramasipili asked, did you observe any blood stains by the kitchen door? And Mhlahlo said no. Ramasipili asked, and by that place, by the glass jars, where you found the bullet head? And Mhlahlo said no. Ramasipili asked, and what about where the bullet was found around the glass jars? Mhlahlo said no. Ramasipili then asked, Zandi Khumalo said that she got an injury on her foot when the first bullet went off. Were any photos taken of that? And Mhlahlo said, I have no knowledge, my lord. Mhlahlo said she doesn't know when Mangena arrived on the scene, but she was already there on the scene when he arrived. His ballistic investigation was done when she was at the scene. So Ramasipili concluded his cross-examination of the witness.
Okay.
It was now time for Advocate Charles Mnisi.
Yes.
And he started with his cross-examination. Mnisi asked, what investigation did Mangena do at the scene? Mhlahlo said, if he is called to explain to the court, he can come and explain. But what I know is that he is a ballistic expert. Mnisi then asked, you were there and you saw him there, ma'am. You could observe what Mr. Mangena did at the scene. Can you please tell the court what Mr. Mangena did at the scene? What investigation did he do at the scene? And Mhlahlo said, I was there for forensic and he was there for ballistic. And I'm sure he will come and tell the court what he was doing.
But you opened the can of worms by saying, when you cross-examined by Ramasipili, that he was there and he did his investigation.
Yes.
And it was basically you started this conversation.
Mangena. Yes, ballistic. Ask the ballistic. Ask the ballistic.
Now
So
you
now-
are saying ask the ballistic. But you said he did his investigation.
So Mnisi then asked, so you are refusing to answer, and the state objected, saying Mhlahlo can't answer on behalf of Mangena. Mnisi then said the basis for the objection has no merit. This witness told us what Mr. Musia did at the scene because she and herself were at the scene. Mr. Mangena is arriving at the very same scene where this witness is, and this witness says she's unable to attest to what Mr. Mangena and that Mr. Mangena will have to come and testify on his own. That's the same analogy. And Baloyi said, I think my learned friend has the wrong end of the stick. The witness testified. Warrant Officer Musia did brief her on what he has done on the scene, and that is not the same with Colonel Mangena. Then the judge said, Mr. Mnisi, you can explore that angle if you want to. And Mnisi said, Mr. Mangena arrived in your presence, speaking now to Mhlahlo. With your experience as a crime scene expert, arrives another expert. You requested to ask what did the other expert do at the scene. You respond by saying, go and ask the expert. Is that how it works with the police? And Mhlahlo said, when we get called to a scene, we get called in our different capacities. Musia and I were there for forensics, and Mangena was there for ballistics. then why did y'all take the bullets? Why did Musia take the bullets? Like, what is going on? Then Nisi said, are you saying you didn't see what Mangena did? And Mhlahlo said, I was focused on my forensic investigation and he was on the ballistic side of the investigation. So I cannot guess that Mangena did this or that. Mhlahlo is mean. And she was on a high, God, with Mnisi. She was really...
I think we have determined that was the case. She's just defensive, and hence Mnisi stood up to question in that format of being not friendly, in a sense, from what I saw.
Mnisi said, I'm not saying you should guess. Did he arrive with his own photographer? Mhlahlo said he does his job himself. He takes his own pictures. I don't take pictures for him. Nisi then asked a simple logic question that even a standard A would understand, and the state objected and said, my learned friend is being sarcastic. May we ask him to withdraw that part of the question? And the judge said, Mr. Mnisi, just respect the person in the witness box, please. But why is she not answering the question? That is my personal question. Like, why is she dodging, diving, good? Like... And if she doesn't know, right? Why are they allowed to be so evasive? Like, you know.
I think, Emily, they are evasive.
Why are they allowed to?
It's happening. What is important, I think, what Mnisi has seen, and Mnisi is dealing with it in that manner. And I think Mshodor is going to follow to that line of questioning. And Ramusipedi is going to sit as Ramusipedi the way he does, open you up for all other questions. What worries me is that we might end up saying the same thing about the next one and the next one and the next one and the next one. All of them might be evasive unless they're called by the defense.
Oh, and evasive answers, who do they benefit in this instance? Let's take Mhlahlo, for example. That's the question I have. Who will benefit more from Mhlahlo not giving definitive answers?
No one benefits, basically.
So where are we going? Just answer the question. If you don't know, you don't know. I don't understand what's so difficult about that. Then Nisi said, it's a simple question. I'm asking you of Mr. Mangena when he arrived at the scene with his own photographer. I'm not asking you whether you took the photos for him or what Mr. Mangena does. And Mhlahlo was getting upset now in her tone. And she said, just like I said, that Colonel Mangena, his work is ballistic. In ballistic, he does everything he needs to do. So I don't understand when the court is asking me whether he came with a photographer. I'm sure if he came with a photographer, you would have seen the photographer, right? Right? Then Mnisi said, I'm going to take it, ma'am, that you are avoiding this question, but it is fine. In what capacity did you attend the scene? And Mhlahlo said to assist with forensic investigation. Mnisi asked in what way. Mhlahlo said, like I said, Musia was already there to do a forensic investigation. When we were called, we continued with the investigation he was doing for forensic. And Mnisi asked, so as a forensic investigator and photographer, Mhlahlo said, also I did the fingerprint investigation. Her expertise are criminalistic expert and fingerprint expert. So when asked to explain what criminalistic expert is, she said it's to investigate the scene fully, collect all the exhibits that you find on the crime scene if they are there. And the judge asked Baloyi if the swabs were admitted, all 12 swabs, and Baloyi said no. Nisi then asked, this court has heard from Musia that there were two teams from police that arrived at the scene, the task team and the crime scene management. Which of the two did you belong to? And Mhlahlo said crime scene management. Nisi,
So that question of the judge, by the way, it was not, to me, looking innocent. That question was seeking to sort of say that you did not ask a question to Msia. Why are you to Msia? Why are you asking her a different question? In a sense, that to me looks like
like it came out of nowhere.
yeah, because he didn't get what he was looking for. That those pictures were accepted. Because if they were, then these people were doing the very same thing. Why all of a sudden do you want to probe this one in this manner? Because they are in the same profession, and unfortunately it didn't work out. There's always something about this. When he asks questions, it's not that he's looking to assist in that manner. No.
Then Nisi asked from crime scene
It's alleged,
management.
basically.
Allegedly, from crime scene management, what tools do you take with you? I also wondered about that question. That's why I paused on it. I'm still wondering what was the purpose of this question.
The purpose was to say,
where are you going?
yeah, the purpose was to say basically you had someone who was doing the very same thing. Yeah. And all of a sudden now you are asking questions of that nature, of ballistic and what. Why all of a sudden you want...
Allegedly.
Yeah.
Allegedly. It's a speculation. Nisi said, from the crime scene management, what tools do you take with you? And Mhlahlo said the camera, cones, light source, forensic exhibit bags, stepping plates, metal detector, etc. And Nisi asked, what instruments did you use at that scene? And Mhlahlo said light sources, camera, measuring tape, and cone and exhibit bags. Nisi asked, why is it important to put it in an envelope before placing it in the bags? These are the exhibits now. Mhlahlo said to protect the integrity of the evidence, that as is found on the crime scene, that it gets to where it is sent in the very same condition, that there is no contamination. Are these envelopes also provided by the Forensic Science Laboratory? And Mhlahlo said, from the office. But that's the point, said Mnisi. The Forensic Science Laboratory provides you with forensic science bags. Is that not so? And Mhlahlo said, that is so, sir. So Mnisi asked, forensic bags go through vigorous testing. And Mhlahlo said, I hear that from you. Mnisi said 20 years and 18 years as a forensic investigator. But in any case, forensic bags go through vigorous testing to avoid contamination. And Mhlahlo said, sir, I don't work in the section where they test forensic bags. As I said, you place the exhibit in the forensic bags to protect the exhibit, to ensure integrity of what was found at the scene. And Mnisi said, exactly. Who then tests that envelope that you simply pick up in one of your offices to ensure it doesn't have anything that could contaminate the very same exhibit you would like to protect? Mhlahlo said, these envelopes are not just picked up somewhere in the office. They are bought for that purpose, to collect exhibits, which is why we make use of them at the crime scene. So there's a space here for contamination, in my opinion.
Yeah, so just to why these bags are used. One is for evidence collection and preservation, as you said, but there's chain of custody. Now, this is to maintain a proper chain of custody, essential for admissibility of the evidence in court. Forensic exhibit bags are used to document the transfer of custody of evidence from the crime scene to the laboratory and throughout the entire analysis process. This helps ensure that the evidence remains intact, untampered with. So this is what these people are not in line with, because there was a use of an envelope.
A
And
brown envelope. that
what
they picked up
envelopes?
from the office.
What envelopes can cause in forensic is it can contaminate and risk that evidence and moisturize environment factors, size and fragility, chemical interactions, and adhesive interference, lack of protection, photography and examination. So envelopes, basically, it is not advisable to use them.
Because if it was fine to use them, then why are they not issued by the lab?
Do you understand?
The lab issues the forensic bags only, not envelopes. You guys decide to buy envelopes and place exhibits in the envelopes before placing them in the exhibit bags. What is that? And we must overlook that.
Yeah.
Like that is not a problem. Can you imagine something as sensitive as, for example, that bullet, and maybe, just maybe, it had some print on it, and then they put it in an envelope, right? What happens as it's busy dancing inside that envelope?
Yeah,
on
it's
paper?
getting contaminated, yes.
What if it had blood?
It moves it.
So why not just put it in the forensic bag direct from the scene? Why does it have to pass through an envelope first? We have questions regarding that, and Mhlahlo is so defensive. So the judge
Yes,
asked,
you know what worries most about this is that even when you are caught with your pants down, you still testify as if you are sure about what you are talking about.
South African courts.
You still tell us that that is the case. We must believe that is the case while this information is freely available. But I'm not happy if they call anyone. I wish they could be a judge who would do that, not the state, as it was suggested that they might be state. Because, no offense, but I don't believe anything that comes out of the state.
I don't blame you. After this, I'm like, it's so nonchalant. It doesn't concern anybody except for the defense counsel. No one cares that that exhibit went through an envelope before it went to the exhibit bag. That the laboratories issue, because they've tried and tested those bags and they know that there will be no contamination once they are inside those bags. And you disrupt the process, you buy envelopes. Who asked you to buy envelopes?
Hence now they are advancing the issues of chain of custody.
Oh my God.
And the judge is on purpose, on record, busy saying that they are talking about accuracy. They are challenging accuracy.
And
Several
correctness.
times
Several times.
he had to be
He keeps-
corrected that no, we are not challenging accuracy of the pictures.
Pictures are pictures.
Yes.
Pictures are pictures of brown envelopes. What are they supposed to challenge there? The exhibits are displayed inside the envelopes. So they must just say, because they are inside the envelopes of which they cannot see, they must just take them because...
And not after someone testified. They had now look at this thing and say, no, but we did not accept that. We did not accept chain of custody.
Now it makes sense why there's so much arrogance with people that specifically work for the state. And they kind of get away. They literally get away with a lot. You can just disrupt the process and create your own in the midst of having a process. You can just create your own process.
Yes.
Did the forensic lab, say it is wise of you to buy your own envelopes? Did they advise that?
No, I doubt they would do that.
So who came up with that brilliant idea of envelopes? And expected it to not be challenged when people's lives are on the line in a court of law.
I guess it would be our stage. I don't know. Since it's made to be seen as this practice that is done all the time.
No, I refuse to believe that.
Because when the line of questioning comes to that direction now to say that Msia in fact packaged the first one that he got without an envelope. Now, was that wrong or right? According to the practice of collecting your evidence, and there she was found wondering now. To answer that, it was very difficult. Please like the video, guys, and share the video.
Now, the judge asked how this line was going to help the court with the case. Unless if you want to put it to her that they were contaminated, then fine. Now we're being taken on a trip about the manufacturing of the exhibit bags. If you have any fault which you think you find concerning the exhibit bags specifically, that they are incapable of forming a frame between the exhibits and the contamination, put it to her. But she can't be expected to explain how the manufacturing of an exhibit bag occurs. She's not an expert in that. Please, let's get on with this. I'm like, yo, judge. Hi, Connor. No. This part, I was very perplexed with our honorable judge, guys. I don't want to lie. And Mnisi said he was talking about the envelope. And Mhlahlo said the office buys them. Mnisi says the court has already made up its mind, of which I agree with him on that point. He did say the court has made up, and I was like, yeah, it seems like, Judge, you kind of made up your mind about this whole situation. Why are we even watching this entire trial? What's the point? Because you won't let the defense do what they want to do or what they're supposed to do, which is to defend their clients and question and pick holes in the processes that have been used to collect this evidence. Why are you interfering with that so much? So when Nisi said that the court has already made up its mind, I mean, most of us felt it. We're like, yeah, he's on to something. And the judge disagreed and said it's about relevancy. Mr. Mnisi is pursuing the questioning because one of the accused is being linked to a bullet that may have possibly been contaminated, which is what Mnisi said. And the judge insisted that Mnisi put it to her that the envelope was contaminated, completely disrupting the basis that Mnisi wanted to lay, in my opinion. It felt like he wanted to cut the basis of Mnisi short, and I don't think that's fair. If he needs to lay a basis, he needs to lay a basis. Why are you interrupting him from doing that?
Look, what was happening there, it's when someone gets in a defensive mood. What was happening there is that when you hear something that is not correct being told as a truth, and Nisi had a right to probe, because he had to demonstrate beyond reasonable doubt that this is not true.
He had to lay his basis, and
this is not true. This is not what this person is saying.
Now he's hurrying him. He's like, put it to them. But as Balo is cross-examining there, asking repetitive questions, you are not saying, please hurry. Like, you're not giving him that energy.
What determines in the mind of this judge now? Now I'm confused, because when Baloi does that, where you find that this person is actually asking one thing in many ways. So what is your name?
And who is that?
And who's that?
What door did they use?
What
T-shirt were they wearing?
You understand?
He's done that, and you just chill. You're chilling. Chill when Mnisi is laying the basis. Chill also. What's the problem now? How? Then Mnisi said, ma'am, is it procedural to pick up an envelope from your office, take it to the scene when you've got a forensic bag, find an exhibit at the scene, instead of putting it in the exhibit bag, then you put it in the envelope? Is that procedural? And Mhlahlo said, I did explain to the court that the envelopes are bought for the task of collecting exhibits at the crime scene. You don't just throw an exhibit in a forensic bag. Why not? Why
Because
don't you just throw an exhibit in an exhibit bag?
She start now focusing on the quality of the plastic bag or the bag that is used and all that. When she was asked about that, she deflated and said, I do not work with that. Now, if you are going to talk about quality, so that means you have tested now, you are now talking to that level.
Yes.
Of knowledge.
Yes.
So when
and
we
she's
ask now
supposed to
about
have the knowledge.
Yes.
She received training. You receive training before you get a certain job, a certain position. There must have been training to explain to you why the use of forensic bags and nothing else.
So now, can you imagine the people that they train these people to actually use these envelopes in small cases?
We have a mess already in forensics if that's the procedure. Because the little bit of science that I've studied, you can't put an exhibit that has fingerprints and so much little tiny incy-wincy bits of details in a paper. You can't. Those materials do not align. That's why the lab issues plastic bags that have been designed in a particular way so as to not disrupt.
The hard surface versus the iron, it rubs each other and it removes the surface, whatever that.
Yes. So this is also, like, there's so many BSc graduates, right, who studied these things and they're sitting and they're unemployed. And then we have Bomhlahlo occupying positions.
Yes. Let us like the video. Let us like the video, share the video, like the video, share the video. We are on 400, 800 people are watching. Thank you, guys. Let us subscribe also, those who haven't subscribed. Oh, God. Please, guys, we beg you.
We are begging for likes. We're still begging, okay? So Mhlahlo said you have to package it to preserve its integrity as it is found on the crime scene. The envelopes are used for that. So, yeah, these envelope issues is a very big issue. So, Mnisi then asked, is it not procedural to place it in a forensic bag first? And Mhlahlo said, in forensic, we don't do that. Okay, I'm going to need someone from forensics who works in the forensic department to come and explain, okay, to that. What Mhlahlo has said in this court, is it a lie or not? The judge asked her to bring one of the envelopes tomorrow in court. Judge asked
Obvious, it's a brown envelope.
For bringing forth that
Is the
envelope.
judge then going to assess that and see that this is the judge now a forensic person also? Because I
don't understand.
The right procedure would to bring a forensic person to say this is not the case. We didn't give them envelopes, these people.
Then Nisi, after the lunch adjournment, asked was how Musia packaged the bullet fragment procedural. And Mhlahlo said, I won't comment on Musia, I can only testify on the bullet that was packaged in my presence. Nisi then asked, you said protocol for exhibits to put in box or an envelope before an exhibit bag. And Mhlahlo said yes, but it doesn't mean that in the absence of an envelope you can just package it. It also depends on the sharpness of the exhibit. It can poke a hole into the exhibit bag.
So now we are packaging we are packaging the, what do we call it? We are packaging the.
I have something that looks similar to what she's talking about. There hasn't been any holes that have been poked here.
Yeah,
there are stuff.
Yeah, don't.
Metal.
Yeah, I hope you don't show. Yeah.
No, there's no personal information. It's just pins. It's pins. This bag has not been poked, and it's not a forensic bag. It's a typical plastic bag. So what are you talking about, Mhlahlo? They really think South Africa is full of people that are dumb. Like, what is happening in the police service? What is going on? And Mnisi said, I'm putting it to you that there's no need for that an exhibit picked up from a crime scene to be put in an envelope before it is put in a forensic bag. And Mhlahlo says, I don't agree with you. Why not, ma'am? Mnisi requested for an expert from the forensic science laboratory to be invited to come and attest to the process that was followed when the exhibits are picked up at the scene and the use of forensic science bags. Mnisi asked, do you know why it's important that the forensic bag is transparent? And Mhlahlo said, so that you can see what is inside. And Mnisi asked, where is the bullet there in photo 128? And Mhlahlo said, inside the envelope, inside the forensic bag. It's the fact that she does not even feel embarrassed saying
explaining that, because he has taken away one aspect of why the forensic bag is transparent.
It's the fact that there's no shame, there's no embarrassing moment. No, with a proud chest, a full chest. Dagabao. Then Mnisi said, what proof do we have that there is a bullet in there? And Mhlahlo said, it is stated on the envelope that it's exhibit 1 and that's a bullet. You are able to see the envelope inside, and I trust that the person who analyzed this would then be able to say that they found inside that envelope, inside that forensic bag, they found the bullet. And Mnisi said, I put it to you that what you say is that forensic bags are transparent, yet all that is depicted there is something in an envelope that is inside an exhibit forensic bag. I don't see no bullet there. I don't see any bullet there. The court sees no bullet there. And my learned colleagues see no bullet there. And Mhlahlo repeated everything that she said before and insisted that inside that envelope there is a bullet on the picture. Not the envelope that she was holding. No. A picture of an envelope inside a forensic bag. So Mnisi said, that is what you are saying. That is what is not depicted on photo 129. You are busy explaining the chain. A chain speaks for itself. You don't have to give evidence in order to support the chain.
It's one of the few. It's one of the few where you have to discuss such evidence.
You don't have to struggle to explain how a chain works. It goes on its own. And Mhlahlo said, just as the photos are self-explanatory, say, of what happened at the crime scene. So a picture of a bullet projectile with a splinter of wood from the damaged door was displayed. And Mnisi said, you say that little damage there next to the bullet is a fragment that came from the door? And Mhlahlo said, yes. Mnisi asked, when you found the bullet, where was Musia? And Mhlahlo said he was there. Mnisi asked, so Musia also saw it too? And Mhlahlo said they were there and they saw it. Was there any discussion about where the bullet fragment could have come from? And Mhlahlo said this piece is visible from the damaged door, so I don't know whether we should discuss this or we should discuss where the piece comes from. But it's clear that the piece is from the door. Mnisi wanted to know if the finding of the bullet, was it a silent finding? You found the bullet, or you talked to your colleagues as you found this bullet and you said, look here, I found this bullet here, you know? And Mhlahlo finally admitted that she did talk to her colleagues about the bullet once it was found. And Mnisi asked, excluding the fragment from the door, and Mhlahlo said that's correct. So Mhlahlo admitted to talking with her colleagues about the bullet, but not the fragment. Then Mnisi said that explains why Musia never said anything about the fragment or the piece of door found next to the bullet. And Mhlahlo said, I don't know about his testimony.
Yet you actually are testifying some of the things he briefed you, because the reason why I can answer is because he briefed me along those, in that mixture.
You said
You
you
don't wanna
did
testify.
talk to Musia. You said when you arrived at the scene, you were reporting to Captain Zwane and Musia, and when you don't want to answer questions now, Musia is no longer a part of what you were doing.
You don't want to testify about him, say.
Nisi said, but he was there and he never mentioned it. And he says that when that bullet was found, he was there. And Mhlahlo said, I'll confirm that he was there when we found the bullet. I hear you, sir. And Nisi said, I put it to you that the thing that you are referring to as a fragment from the door and the bullet, those were never there. Somebody made sure that those things were put there. And Mhlahlo said maybe the court could then inform us who that person is because I found those things there. And when they were found, I was with Musia and Zwane. Now you're with Musia and Zwane.
You see, now you need alibis.
And Mnisi then asked, I can also tell you that the thing is just a mark made with a corky pen. So the exhibit on the door, or the damage on the door, this is saying, I can also tell you that this thing is just a mark made with a corky pen to trump a case against the poor accused persons before this court today. And Mhlahlo said, maybe you know who formed part of that conspiracy theory, but this is how I found the scene.
Touching the right nerve. Because even if it was there, even if, let's say it was there, how do you prove it? If you only took, with that camera and there was a hiccup now and then, see, I didn't take those things, and you now all of a sudden there's these blanks that you have to take.
Good question. How do we acknowledge, or how do you acknowledge that?
Other exhibits are marked with big alphabets, others small.
Now, that which you are referring to as a fragment of the door, what value in the chain of evidence was it to you? And Mhlahlo said it was never collected. It didn't have evidence. What we concentrated on was the bullet head behind the jars because there was a shooting incident.
But you took a picture of it.
Why did you take a
So why is the picture there? And you say it was never collected, but the picture is there. The picture is saying I'm here.
Mhlahlo said that she's not here to speculate. And Mnisi said the reason why you say you disregarded that piece of evidence is because it wasn't there. And Mhlahlo said when we collected the scene, we look at the value. And Mnisi said you're suggesting that you found that next to the bullet was not of value.
So here's S here saying that the envelopes are given by the forensic people. Yet Mhlahlo, the person who's in charge of it, he said they are bought.
They are bought.
Yes, S here. Forensic saying is forensic does issue those things to police.
But why is Mhlahlo saying in court that they are bought?
Yeah, even the judge was going to that direction, and eventually Mhlahlo debunked that, saying no, they are bought.
Then
they are part of stationery that we buy.
Yes, they're part. They stay in the office there. They buy them and they take them when they go to the crime scene.
How do people lie with bold chest though?
Then Mhlahlo said this piece had no value. Nisi was seeking to understand how the wood fragment from the door damage found itself next to the bullet on the kitchen counter. And Mhlahlo said that she is not in court to speculate and says that the wood fragment was not packaged because they look for things with evidential value. And Nisi asked, are you suggesting from what you found there next to the bullet it didn't constitute evidence of value considering the door was damaged? And Mhlahlo said this piece had no evidential value. Nisi said, I put it to you. You didn't take it because that thing was not there. And Mhlahlo said, I don't agree with you. So Mnisi says, the manner in which you found that bullet, did it require a person with particular expertise or experience, or could have been found by anyone? And Mhlahlo said, I'm referring to myself, having looked at the door and having seen it was damaged. We searched for what could have damaged the door, and I could speak for someone else. Mr. Matebula testified that they did not find anything on top of the kitchen counter, and Mhlahlo said, I hear you. So Mhlahlo says that she's the one who prepared her statement, and one of the exhibit bag number was not written in bold or capital letters like the rest in that statement. And Mhlahlo said that there is no reason, just like her name and rank are written in small letters at the top. Nisi said his concern is the numbering of exhibits and not her name and her rank. Mnisi said because it was the latest addition to her exhibit, she put in that part after all the swabs were already mentioned in the affidavit, unbeknown to her. And Mhlahlo said, I need clarity as to who added it and when. There's nothing that you are saying. I'm not in this court to tell lies. I'm here to tell about what I did at the crime scene.
Here's where
and what
you want
I
them.
found there.
Here's where you want them. Then they start throwing some salty oath there, of as if they even know that Bible. I'm not saying that they don't, but I mean I've questioned the process of oathing people there. Maybe people should be oathed under what they believe.
Did she not say, which is why I took the oath?
This is where you need them when they try to now explain and run to
Oh my God.
the holy oath.
The brown envelope with the sealed hat collected by Musia is not in her affidavit as well. And Mnisi asked, what instrument did you use? And Mhlahlo said, we used our hands. We were wearing gloves. Why do you mention the hat in your statement? And Mhlahlo said, I said once we were done with it, we did a debriefing. And even before we started, Musia informed us of what he had done. Now, this case relates to all the exhibits found at the scene because it's one case. And Mnisi said, are you saying all the exhibits are mentioned here? And Mhlahlo said, can you please show us where the bullet fragment was on this? And Mhlahlo said, there's no mention of the fragment. It only mentions exhibits. Mnisi asked, I put it to you, the bullet was planted. I put it to you that the bullet was planted. And Mhlahlo said, I have no idea. But at the time that I was there, nothing was planted. And Mnisi further on went and asked, and that amounted to scene tampering. And Mhlahlo said, not at the time that I was there. Mnisi made an application for a forensic science expert to come and testify at the end of the testimonies of the state and the defense, to come and explain the process in the interest of justice. He even used the 1928 case that the judge loves so much, Rob versus Hebsoff. And Nisi concluded his examination of the witness. It was now Advocate Nxumalo's turn. Nxumalo was up next, and Mhlahlo disposed on the 6th of November 2014 her affidavit. And Nxumalo asked why Mhlahlo only disposed it then. She says that the docket needed to be completed in 21 days, and on the 28th she was at the mortuary. So the dockets needed to go for inspection. Photos needed to be downloaded to the SD card. And Mangena in his statement does not say that the bullet projectile was found in a brown envelope. The state objected, and the judge said that let her answer. I was accused of not giving people an opportunity to answer questions.
Yeah, you're not accused. I'm sure you could say.
Yeah, he's petty. Not only is he doing all of these things, but he's petty too.
You are not accused. That's exactly what you've been doing.
And then Mhlahlo refused to comment on Mangena's statement. She says she can comment on what she did. Nxumalo says, why did you not collect the wood fragment that you found next to the bullet? And Mnisi said, our exhibit is the bullet and not the piece of door. Ngumalo asked, is there a photo of the bag open? And Mhlahlo said, it's not here. Ngumalo asked, why did you not take it? Mhlahlo said, the bag shows it was taken with something inside. It was not going to shoot an empty bag. Ngumalo asked, I mean, before it was sealed with the exhibit inside. Is there a picture like that? And Mhlahlo said, there's no photo like that. And Ngumalo asked, Musia testified that a revolver does not eject a cartridge. And Mhlahlo said, I hear you. Ngumalo asked, were there any empty cartridges that were found at the scene? And Mhlahlo said, in my presence, none. Ngumalo asked, I'm making a proposition that on the 9th of February 2015, the police went to look for a projectile that matches the firearm allegedly found in the possession of accused number 3. And Mhlahlo said, I don't know if the court wants me to respond. The judge said, but for this court, by extension of logic, police found a fragment bullet on the 26th, and when they returned, they found the so-called bullet on the 27th. So it's 2 projectiles. So you say it emanated from a firearm found in the possession of accused number 3. Ngumalo said, no, that's not what I'm saying. Ngumalo says a bullet projectile fired from a revolver that didn't eject the cartridge was removed, replaced with a different one. And Ngumalo said it was planted. And Mhlahlo said, if you say it was planted, who says I planted it? Yeah, and then there was an adjournment. What did you think of the interaction between Ngumalo and the judge?
Oh, the judge decided to add these bullets. When you are planting, you add them. So the judge took that approach of saying, okay, then it was added. What happened with the planted? So if something is planted, do you still then account for whatever bullet that is lost? He is the one who was saying things disappear there. Wasn't he the one who said that at some point the cast the court dockets or something
of the people that were guilty
they disappeared.
At the Joburg High Court disappeared.
So did they disappear and they add them back, or did they disappear and disappear forever?
Disappear forever.
Okay. So why is the judge now deciding to have some sort of amnesia when it suits the judge basically and the states? Based on what I'm seeing, why is the judge choosing to have selective amnesia?
Amnesia. You know, I'm tired at this point because it's.
He used examples, he used experience, he used everything. He tells us the stories, and then those stories, when they come back to play, all of a sudden, now they remove that bullet and they added those bullets, and now it's 4 bullets. Come on, man. This is the time where I just do. Obviously.
We can't say much. But guys, the lines are now open. You can call in and share your opinion. I tried as much as I can to move as fast as I could, honey. And I hope you picked up what you could and you can base your opinion on what.
Basically, the judge just a step more. And he likes doing that a lot.
He likes doing that a lot with Ngumalo. And that's how I feel like Ngumalo maybe is onto something. Whenever he does that, I'm like, Ngumalo is onto something.
So, like when there was a bit of cleaning, did they bring back those cans? Why is the judge not adding those cans then?
I don't know.
Zanzi, hello.
Mr. Anonymous, how are you?
I'm good, sir. How are you?
I'm good. You know, let me start by saying, this case is teaching us one thing, that sometimes we will say as South Africans that our people, our professionals are not properly trained or are not getting the proper training.
Yes.
But when it's not true, it's actually corruption that makes it seem that they don't get the proper training. You see, because if a person comes deliberately in court to distort the professional information,
yes,
including his or her professional practice.
Yes.
Now, in the eyes of the public, it's like this person is poorly trained, but the person is deliberately distorting the information.
Mm-hmm.
Now, you see, Emily, that hammer behind you there.
Yes.
I just want to give you a scenario. That hammer behind you there.
Yes.
If a judge gets emotional when he adjourns the court and he picks up that hammer and he hits it on the table and it breaks and and the tip of the hammer gets into someone's eye in court there, and he faces charges of damaging someone's eye.
Yes.
When he's cross-examined, he can't come to court and say, I don't work with hammers. I don't work where they make hammers. I don't know. I did not know that the hammer would break.
Yeah.
And I because I don't work in the factory where they make hammers.
Yes.
He's making an excuse about those forensic bags.
Yes.
In any forensic situation, in any country, in a standard professional country, forensic bags are transparent for a particular purpose. You cannot use a non-transparent envelope because this thing is going to exchange hands.
Yeah.
From the people who are picking up evidence to the people who are receiving it, from the people who have received it to the storage, from the storage to forensic laboratories.
Yeah.
And when each time they change hands, the person who takes it must take a picture outside. He's not opening it. He's taking a picture outside before he opens it to say, when I received it, because the picture is going to show the time when you took the picture. So you can have evidence to say, before I opened the seal, I took a picture to show that it was not tampered with before it was given to me. Now, how do you do that with an envelope? When the envelope changes hands, and the seal of the envelope is not like the seal of the forensic bag. When the seal of the envelope keeps being opened many times, how many envelopes are you going to use? Or are you going to use the same envelope? You see? And how sure are you that this envelope, when you receive that bullet inside was not changed? It's the same bullet that was found on the scene. Which is why evidence is collected in transparent bags, so that it is not changed. You see?
Yes.
Now, that envelope, my take is that envelope was brought there by Mangena. Remember, the evidence of Mushala is that when they've finished taking up pictures and the bullet, when they were on their way out, then came Mangena. Who is a ballistic expert. And at that time, already, the bullet was with them who are not ballistic experts. You see? So my take is that Mangena came with an envelope containing a bullet inside, and nobody could see that there was a bullet inside. And therefore, it makes sense why the judge is now becoming emotional when Numalo is raising a very important question. Is just that the difference between Numalo and Nisi is that Nisi stands for his position, and Numalo quickly withdraws when the judge becomes arrogant. You see? Now, Numalo was raising a very important question there. He's saying, but the bullet that was found, that came from forensic, is a 9mm bullet. It's not a revolver bullet. And the testimony of Nsia is that the gun that was used there was a revolver. That is where Numalo was going to say, how do you reconcile the two? That the bullet, the gun that was used was a revolver, but the bullet that came from forensic is now a 9mm bullet. How do you reconcile that? Now the judge deliberately distorted Numalo's questions and created an argument to confuse Numalo not to go there where he wanted to go.
Yes.
You see? But the other thing, is Anonymous and Emil. The reason why these forensic bags are used in crime scenes is not only to rely on the pictures when you come to court. You rely on both the pictures and the bags and the evidence itself.
Inside.
Where we're talking about guns here in this court. There are no guns. We're talking about bullets that came from forensic, but they're not being shown in court. Where are they? Because they must come in court in those forensic bags and reconcile that with the pictures. You see? Now, the reason why Mushala is not is refusing to say why she did not write the break from the door that was next to the bullet. It's because she knows, she was told when, like I said to you the other day, these witnesses are being drilled before they come to court. They are being drilled to what to say. It's because she knows which the defense can say, let's take that chip and go to the scene, go to that door and match the hole where you claim that this chip came from. Match it and see if it's in. And match the chip on the door and the size of the bullet and see if it's this bullet that chipped that door. Because it could be any other thing. It could be a dagger that chipped the door, not the bullet. You see? So the judge, in my view, is in on the side of the state. So even this thing of saying Mushala is going to bring an envelope tomorrow, that, in my understanding, that envelope that she was asked to bring the envelope that contains that bullet, not any other envelope. Now, she's saying she will bring the envelope. From 2014, the envelope that contains that bullet, is she going to find it? And if she finds it, how is it possible when they could not find Musia's pocketbook? You see? So, guys, this case is boring me to the bone now. Thanks, guys.
Cool. So, guess this is the lucky one. You had your 7 minutes share and you shared your insight. So, we're going back to 1 minute. Guys, for everyone. So, the first one, I always do that. I always let them vent whatever that they want to say.
Yes.
I give them that airtime. And luckily, if you get someone who's an expert, that's good. If you get someone who understands what is deliberated there in court, that's good. So guys, keep the calls coming and keep the likes coming, keep the subscriptions coming, membership joining, keep it all coming.
Yeah, this case is really going to do a number on us.
Yeah.
When we're done with it, I will not be looking at things how I used to look at them before. Unfortunately, everything is alleged. The views and opinions expressed by our callers on Mzansi Reality are not that of the viewers and are not that of the channel of Mzansi Reality. Even the views and opinions of the hosts themselves, that includes myself and Mr. Anonymous, are not that of Mzansi Reality.
Mzansi, hello.
Hey, morning, Mr. Anonymous and Emily.
Hi, sir, how are you?
I am okay. There is this angle that I want to touch on that Musia and not Musia is mentioned today, but it didn't dwell much on it.
Yeah.
We are saying that the state needs to prove beyond reasonable doubt that there is a bullet that killed Senzo. And we were told that the bullet came from the front and it exited at the back. And Zandi told us that the first bullet hit the wall or the tiles, and the second one we are told that it did hit the door. But we are not being told about the bullet that hit Senzo.
Yes.
Because if we were to say the bullet that hit the door is the same bullet that hit Senzo, and it's the bullet that was located on top of the cabinet or whatever that was there, they need to show us blood.
Yes.
So failing to show blood in that bullet, so they will be failing to tell us that which bullet killed Senzo. So proving beyond reasonable doubt, it cannot come in there because there was supposed to be a bullet that you can show the blood. This is the blood. This might be the bullet that went through Senzo. But now we don't have that bullet. We have two bullets that are not proving that Senzo was shot.
Yeah.
They are proving that the gun was fired.
Yeah. Yeah. No.
So the state, they are going to have difficulty proving that there is a bullet that shot Senzo, and this is a bullet.
Right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yo.
Yeah, there's basically still no link. What would happen if the judge would render the judge impartial? Okay, that's a question from us. Mzansi, hello. Mzansi.
We are good. Yourself?
Yeah, good man. I'm feeling too long.
Yes.
Yeah, let me throw in my friend. You see, Emil, you are right. You know what I think about you. There is a point you are missing that Nimalo raised yesterday. He was going straight to that direction that he raised yesterday. If you remember yesterday, well, Nimalo asked me here, did you know that the bullet was sent for testing in 2020, but you found them on the 27th of October 2014? But yesterday, he was not aware. Now the judge was intentionally supporting Nimalo because he knew, he saw Nimalo going to that direction. Why the bullets were sent for testing on 2020, but they were found on the 27th of October 2014? They were still looking for someone they were going to the link. They were still searching for everything. Like this guy was caught with a lot of ammunition and unlicensed firearms.
Yeah.
That's why they found their place. Because if you remember, the guy who was in charge of case number 3, he confirmed with a straight face that now if this firearm involved in any incident or not, I would have picked up that time. Where is this bullet coming from now?
Where is it coming from?
So that's what must want to confirm that I send this firearm to the ballistic and all this ammunition. If this firearm was involved, I would have picked up. If you remember, Mrs. asked, and before the guy asked the question, the judge asked, you want him to answer that question? And Mrs. said, yes, I want him to answer. And the guy on the conference, now I was investigating Alexander case. If this firearm was involved, I would have picked up on February 2015. Why they only pick up now? No. Follow must stop with these 96 months. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you. Hey.
Right, let us like and subscribe and share the video, guys. Like, subscribe, share. And yeah, keep the calls coming. Let me go check on WhatsApp.
It doesn't give me peace. You
can't do the check now. It's only now you do the checks. Now. 2020. Zanzi, hello?
Mr. Anonymous and Emily. Good morning.
Morning.
Yes. I'm not sure whether you picked up this thing with Omnis. I think he missed one smaller point when he was talking about how the statement of himself was documented when he mentioned which is the forensic bag as well as the projectile that was found on the top of the cupboard as inserted later. From Exhibit 2 until 12, they all start with P1, right? And it seems to me that the sequencing is following, one follows the other. But the first one is P500. How come we start with P5 and then go to P4?
Yeah.
From the second one up until the last. So I think he missed putting that into the argument he was making around that issue.
Yeah. Shololo has a chance.
It didn't make sense to start with P5 and then move to 4. If that's how they are sequenced.
Yeah.
Yeah, otherwise, I had some serious interest into studying law, but I can see now you can prepare and do everything you want to do. The judge doesn't want to do the right thing. You're just going to waste all your work. No, I'm done with it. I'm not going to do it anymore.
Right.
Yeah.
Cool.
That was just my piece there.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
It's scary thinking of studying law now. It is scary.
We are being held to 1 minute. Sometimes someone is putting that point across. You just want to Mzansi, hello.
Hello?
Hi, sir. How are you? So, it's a minute.
Bafowethu nirayi.
Sikhona mfowethu.
Sisuright lapho.
I'm right. Go for it. Hello.
Kodwa umsi
All right.
nkulumo eyasho umsiya.
Yeah.
Oi,
Yeah.
yeah.
Nkulumo yasho umsiya. All right. Asenze kanje. The guy is talking about the conversation that Msia or the was it the press or what? Fortunately, someone sent it. Let me just do this.
What I can say, that crime scene.
Oh God, Bradley.
So this is a conversation that Musia
Just
had.
wait for me to play it because it disturbs the.
Okay.
What I can say, that crime scene was very much. It was a bit heavier, and that's why I ended up.
Oh, people are calling. Then that thing's disturbing.
It's being
Mzansi,
disturbed
hello.
by the calls.
Yeah.
Hi guys, how are you?
Good. How are you?
Yeah, no, I'm good. Thank you very much. Yeah, I was watching this case of Senzo Meyiwa. The way it is continuing or going on is actually disappointing, more especially when we look at this judge, the way he conducts this hearing, honestly. He is not partial. It is clear that he's taking sides. He doesn't guide the advocate correctly in terms of aligning them to the proper merit of the case. Instead, he continues lecturing them and then showcasing himself as if he's on the platform, contesting for a particular title. Which I don't know what it is, basically.
Yeah.
Because now, if you look at Baloyi, it is he in most cases gets out of line, more especially when he calls for his orders, which are not sensible. And when he goes off the tangent, this judge will actually now be Baloyi's mouthpiece. And he does so in most cases to suppress the advocate that would be on the stand. Like the question that Advocate Nxumalo would normally raise when he was talking about the envelopes, as to these envelopes that you get, where do they come from? The answer is not clear there as to whether they were bought from the store or they come from the laboratories. And then again, he doesn't even allow or maybe persuade the witness to tell as to whether there are certain processes that are observed into procuring those particular envelopes and whether those envelopes are of a particular shape. And he doesn't even dig or assist to dig to find out as to why actually they are using the envelopes to seal the evidence before they put them into a plastic evidence bag,
Yeah.
He basically appears to be
I'm gonna have to cut you. That's 2 minutes. Thank you.
No, it's okay. Thank you.
Okay, thank you for calling.
That's what happens.
And I ended up doing the necessary to call people who can help me.
Guys, I'm just gonna do this, Emily. Forgive me. I'll do this because I know for sure there's not gonna be a disturbance. Right, let me just play this.
Okay, let's
Yes,
play.
it was gonna be very much differently. What I can say, that crime scene was very much complicated, and for me it was a bit heavier, and that's why I ended up deciding to, and I ended up doing the necessary to call people who can help me. Yes, it was gonna be very much difficult for me alone. Yes.
When you got to the crime scene, what is it that you remember that stood out for you, that you thought something is wrong here? Was there anything that stood out for you?
The time frame, the time of incident, and the time the case the time which was the case was reported to me, it opened very much too many questions to me.
Yeah. What kind of questions were you asking yourself about how long it took?
What was happening before I received I'm not sure what was happening before I received the call, but it was abnormal. It was abnormal as being attending to crime scenes, but that time frame is too much.
Yeah, 4 hours is a very long time.
Very long time.
Yeah.
Yes.
So you contend in that 4 hours, anything could have happened. The scene could have been tampered with. That's what you contend.
I cannot say anything about it.
But you're saying it's abnormal. So anything could have happened.
I think so.
All right. Mr. Musia, then now moving forward, are there any lessons that you take from that crime scene?
Too many lessons.
Yeah, such as what?
Too many lessons.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Basically, that's the gist. Too many lessons. There's nothing after that. She's not gonna answer anything.
So this is Musia after his first testimony before De Novo.
Yes.
When he was done testifying the first time.
Yes, when he thought everything was...
When he thought he was done, and then he's called back. But he still didn't want to admit that the scene was tampered with, in my opinion. But he did say that the time was dodgy. And he's actually saying he's the one who called for backup. He's the one who called for assistance.
Yeah.
So
because the scene was very heavy, and the 4 hours gap, it comes that 4 hours gap, whether you like it or not. So you guys can continue calling.
The lines are open again. And thank you to a subscriber who sent us that clip.
Zanzi, hello. Thank you. Zanzi, hello.
Bafowethu ninjani?
Sikhona njani?
Khona bafowethu. Hey, bafowethu mina ngifuna ukukhomenta phezu Mrs Popola. Mrs Popola wabuzwa ngujaji wathi kusithombe 18 and 19 kaZithi day. Wathi yabona lesi sithombe, wathi yebo ngiyasibona. Wathi yini le, wathi umnyango uhlahlekile. Wathi kubangelwa yini lo? Wathi my lord angazi. Kodwa into lesiyibone masibuya kuphi esibhedlela. Masiya esibhedlela into la siyibonanga, siyibone masibuya kuphi esibhedlela. Kusho ukuthi mabe phuma noSenzo bemusa esibhedlela umnyango ubungahlahlekile bu right. Bayibone masebebuya esibhedlela. Mrs Xakaxaka uTumelo Madlala akakhulumanga ngendaba yomnyango ukuthi umnyango usubone uhlahlekile udutshuliwe kanjani. Azange akhulume ngawo Mr Xakaxaka. Usiya mayena ethi bullet uyifune ngemva kwesivalo. Bullet isivalo yangatholakala embobeni esivalo lapho ehlahle khona isivalo. Wayifuna phansi ongayitholi. Usiya uright uyazi ukuthi bullet mayishaya isivalo imele ishone kuphi, imele iwele phansi ngoba ayikwazanga ukuphumela ngalena kwesivalo. Lo siso ithola phezu kwekhabothi lapha ya ngamanga lawo into efekiwe le. Usisi yazi ukuthi ufake ini lapha ya. Usisi ipointelelo detesify izolo lo malume kaKheli owayeselendlini kusini. Uyena abaziyo ukuthi ibullet ifike kanjani lapha no kunekhola efonizolo.
Ngiyakuvala mfethu, ngiyakuvala. Ibhlungu yona leyo ukuthi nginivala, but I have to unfortunately.
Everything is allegedly.
Everything is alleged. No, ngivala because of time. It has to do with time. Yeah.
But can't you vala as another call comes through? I'm just asking. Is there another call coming through?
It's difficult to do that.
Okay.
And that's the thing. The next one also is gonna. I know people have a lot of things to say, and they're valid.
Well, let's extend it to 2 minutes just for tonight. Let's make it 2 minutes, please. Because I feel like we're cutting as people are warming up.
Warming up?
When people are for Dubai, light up like.
Yeah, so basically what was said there is that But there's a point of arguments in terms of Miss Popola. You can say I didn't look properly.
Popola uthe umnyango ubohlahlekile, and she only noticed that the door was damaged after they came back from the hospital. That's what the caller was saying. And another thing is that Tumelo never spoke about the door. And Musia was right in his reasoning to look for the bullet on the floor. And Mhlahlo, it's kind of weird that she found the bullet at the top, and she needs to kind of like...
Yeah, you see, I like that thinking to say that she must explain, because she's the one who found so what surprises me? What surprises me is that a bullet hits the door, and the door is not that strong to actually, okay, let's say it does resist because of some certain reason, but to deflect,
it's a
so deflect from the door and then come back, that means I don't know. Or it's like, you know, when something hits something with the resistance and there's too much, and then it goes back, maybe,
and then it flies again to
maybe
the top of the
maybe you've got a point. Maybe that's why it did not break the glasses, because it was coming back in that format of spinning, maybe, like, you know, and then it Mzansi, hello.
Hi, guys, how are you?
Good, how are you?
I'm going through some sure if you guys are still there.
Yes.
Okay. Well, I just want to say something. Lots have happened today. But Missy, he was straight to the point today. Yeah, Missy and Malo. So we'll see what will happen with Shalolo. Yabona nje ukuthi Friday kube the court, because now you can see ukuthi mina ziningi izinto ezenzakalile kule case, ziningi izinto ezenzakalile. As for being a she was super angry. For sure she knows something. And remember, she's the one or told something. So now we are realizing that, you know, mentally Ingaya very far, because they thought the things will never happen. So now it's very difficult. It is very difficult. On the other side, I usually was reading Twitter. Uzandi, these people are very smart. Let me tell you that. Because Uzandi, Nifaka Leaposi, Agazangashu with Msholol. That's why they was able to cover up the whole thing. Agashu with Msholol for one reason. Uyazi, Msholol will never come forward and say, one of the reasons, that's what she posted on Twitter. Because a judge will be reading and say, but Msholol. Something.
Have exceeded that 2 minutes.
Uthe ithingimsize quickly. Uthe uthenge inja. Angazi athi inja yenze njani.
Yes, but when she was naming the dog, akaza ngasho Mshololo unqamlelile in a way. Then you have just to assume that actually here she wants to say Mshololo, don't understand Mshololo.
Okay, let us close it up. Mr. Anonymous is saying the time is up. Thank you so much for calling.
Okay.
Right.
How did you? But then I didn't want to talk about it. You know, when it comes to Miss Popola, it's almost as if the more attention you give her, the more she just wants to press the bar and press the bar and press the bar.
Siabulela is saying that the physics that happened to that bullet is not make sure the bullet bounced off the door. It wasn't going to be found on the counter.
No.
Yes, yeah.
The physics is not make sure. You are so right. It's not. No.
Yeah, you see, the only thing that I'm looking forward to towards Mangena as someone's saying on WhatsApp that Mangena must come and show us the bullet moved and where Senzo was and where the shooter was, like he did in the Oscar Pistorius. It's the same guy.
How?
So, well, he's going to explain how.
No, he needs to, because with the Oscar Pistorius, it was explained well, the bouncing on the tiles, the momentum.
But they were tiles. The door is not a tile.
The momentum, but the explanation was good, even I.
So he's gonna come and say the door, a plank.
A plank. Ibouncile yathi shu lapha yaphezulu.
Unless then the definition is gonna say it came through someone's body, maybe because of that, and like.
But then if it was on somebody's body, why in there phezulu?
That's hello. We are here to finish your story. Say, how are you?
Ungabheka ibullet.
I hate it when the line does that.
That's a lie. That's a lie. That's a lie. Let me change you. Put you on this one. See if it.
Hello?
Yeah, we're here now. Continue. It's from your side then. I have changed 2 lines. Trying to connect to you. Okay, yeah. So basically, guys, I think the last caller will be the last caller, the one who calls now.
Okay, guys.
I am tired.
Shoot it short. One last caller. Let's go. Let's go. One last one. You can do it. Share your opinion before we leave the studio.
Okay, so 1 minute is too little. Yeah, you guys created that 1 minute. It was not me. I was letting people.
Let's extend it to 2.
Okay, so we'll give them 2 tomorrow
and see how it works out.
They will. But the problem is that like that thing of debate when you get in, just greet and shoot.
1 minute is too little. Even I am feeling it. It's like it goes by so fast. And people buy our food to Mala by the time we're like, time is up. No. We need to.
So no, we'll look into 2 tomorrow.
Okay,
guys,
maybe we should have rules like don't deviate away from the topic. Maybe we need to set up those. Obviously, if you're not talking about...
you have your 2 minutes, your 2 cents. Okay. Don't deviate on the rules.
Okay,
2 minutes, your 2 cents. Do your thing.
Do your thing.
Show us why you went in. So guys, please subscribe, like the video on your way out. Thank you very much for joining us. I think on my side, I am done.
Bye guys. Bye.
All right, who is this? Hello.
Oh, hey, Mzan. Thanks for taking my call.
All right. Go for it.
Yes, ma'am. I wanted to say, the lady meeting social, to me, her evidence doesn't hold water at all. And I think because we need to look at the timeline. Firstly, Mr. Musia came in 4 hours after the incident. Mm-hmm. He took pictures, took the evidence with him, and left the scene completely. When he came back, then Mr. Social came back 10 hours after the incident. Mm. By then, there were like dozens and dozens of people who have came into the house. And I wanted to see on her evidence, was the evidence from Mr. Musia taken out for her to take the pictures, or she never took the pictures with that evidence? That's all I wanted to find out. Thank you guys for taking the call.
Thank you. And it's a question, guys. Please help us out. Do you think
Zanzi, hello.
The one who gave
Zanzi, hello. Hello, Mr. Alan. I'm just speaking to Buddha.
Yes, Buddha.
Now I want to comment about this strange bullet.
Yes.
According to this logic, this bullet hit the door but the force couldn't put it down to the floor. Instead, it fly on top of the cupboard. Hey, very strange force there, man. Because immediately after it hit the door, I think my thinking is telling me that it was weak already. How could it land on the floor instead of landing on the floor? It landed on the cupboard.
Yes.
No, man, no. But gravity force. There is no gravity force on top of the cupboard. It landed the door, and there was no power or force. It was weak because it's something already. That bullet was supposed to be found on the floor, not on top of the cupboard. And listen, so if you listen, when these lawyers are driving this narrative, someone planning, she's so defensive.
Yeah.
She's so defensive. She just wants them to tell and this Sato girl. I'm a Xhosa man. I know Xhosa, and they take narrative of confidence. We know confidence. We know arrogance. We know. I'm a Xhosa. I know confidence. I know arrogance.
You Xhosa. You are allowed.
I'm a Xhosa.
Oh yeah, allowed.
I'm a Xhosa. I'm original from the Storm, my man. I'm telling you, I know confidence of Xhosa. I know arrogance. This one is arrogance, not confidence.
Okay,
I'm a Xhosa.
Okay, if you
I'm from Eastern Cape, Tomo. This one is not confident, it's arrogant.
Okay, if you're close.
Thanks, man.
Okay, right, cool. No, I saw that fight
on the chat.
I was like, I'm not going in.
Like no.
But if you are closer, you're commenting on your people.
It's fine, but we are not allowed to.
No, I can never say that on people. I have nice, I have more quality guy.
We've come far with Kwenesitliga.
We've come very far. Yo, we've come very far.
We've come so far. Oh my God, Kwenesitliga. Yo.
Shout out to him. Thank you, thank you, Lindeni. Blessings. I think it's Nate. Let's correct me if I'm wrong. Tozani, Auntie, thank you, Moyo.
Auntie
thank you,
CK.
Tibu. Yeah,
Thank
that's
you.
our moderator. I remember that I'm not even supposed to call. And then Busiso, and then that's it. Tuli Tools. Sizwe. Couldn't forget you. Thank you guys for being with us all the time. Thank you very much. Please like the video and subscribe. If you could not subscribe, thank you. It's been nice.
Thank you guys. It's been so wonderful. And until tomorrow, again, same time, same place. Bye.
Right.
Okay, when you see this